Alright, let me take a little light on the subject. Here we go. Alright, so here's the oil fill plug. And I took it out already. I was kind of surprised. There is no magnet on this. I don't like that. I might see if he can get him another plug that actually has a magnet on it. But we'll take the bottom one out. Maybe it's got the magnet on it. So, and it's about 1 inch low. I put my finger in there. There's no oil, but it's also black as coal. So simple enough. All you need is a 1/2 inch ratchet or a 1/2 inch breaker bar if it's really tight. So I'm gonna loosen up this bottom plug, see if there's a magnet on it, and we'll get it draining. Okay, let's get to draining and see what we see when we do this. Do see some like thread lock material on there. Come on out, come on out. There it goes. Okay, I see a magnet on this part. I see a little fuzz. Nothing real big. We'll clean it up better and see what we find. Well, I'm going to warn you, you need to be ready. When that oil comes out, it comes out fast. So we got it all caught, put in this container here. Remember, you're going to be draining out 12 quarts at least. But one thing I'm not liking is I'm seeing some metal on here. There's no great big chunks, but I don't know. I don't like it, but I don't know how many miles is on this one. I'll ask the owner and see. So this is the oil that come out of the differential. This RV has 40,000 miles, so I'm suspecting it's never been changed. Like a lot of differentials, like I've said before, they are the forgotten oil change. So let's crawl under there and put in some fresh, clean oil. Something else I want to point out, it's very important. If you ever have a bearing failure on the end of these hubs, I've talked to a fellow one time, he had a horrible experience. His bearing failed. He went and had a new bearing installed. Went about 100 miles down the road and it failed. So what happens is when you put new bearings on the end of these hubs, if you don't tilt the axle, you won't get oil to them because they can't get, look, well, let me show you here. That's how the differential is. You got separate hubs out here and they kind of dish down. You put new bearings in them, the only way you get this oil to them is you got to tilt the axle up. It's like so if you put this bearing in new, you got to tilt this up like that so the oil will drain into the hub. If you put the bearing on the other side, you got to do the same thing. You got to tilt it up. I illustrated this in my brake job I did about 5 years ago. I did a complete brake job on my W22. But it's an important thing to remember, because if you just slip bearings in there and you just assume by filling this up you're good to go, you're not. You got to raise up both wheels about 8 inches to get that oil to roll out there into the hub. Something to keep in mind. So before I put this drain plug back in and finish this oil change on this Dana 150, I want to get a close-up view of all this metal fuzz. Now I'm assuming this is 40,000 miles. I don't know if this has ever been changed or not, to tell you the truth. As black as it was, I would suspect it's probably the original oil in it. So I took a little piece of copper here so I could kind of roll this stuff around. It's got all that, just that kind of fuzz to it. Bunch of tiny little shavings, which I guess maybe that's considered somewhat normal. But there was 2 little pieces I found right here, which kind of like looks like what I found in mine a while back. I had one piece kind of curled that way, so maybe it's somewhat of a normal occurrence. Makes me feel a little bit better about mine if I see it in his also. See how they're kind of rolled? Don't know for sure where they're coming from, but he's only got 2 pieces like that. I think he's going to be all right. I'm going to clean this up a little bit more and see what it looks like. Alright, I got it cleaned up pretty good. Got all that fuzz off of it. Best way to do it, I was using this parts brake cleaner, and then I'd blast it with the air from the air hose. Kind of the best way to get it good and clean, because you just keep wiping and wiping and never get it off because of that magnet hanging on to all that fuzz. And you can see what a mess I made here trying to wipe it off. And you just got those 2 little metal flakes left. Of course, remember, this didn't come out of my RV. This came out of my buddy Tim. He drove in from Arizona. Had a couple things to fix, so we're getting him all lined up, and this is one of them. Another one is we've got an axle leak. We're dealing with that too, changing out the Oh, we're taking the axles out and getting that leak fixed. Because with an RV, it's always something, isn't it? All right. Okay, let's talk about the oil and the proper oil to use. So here's straight from Dana's website from a PDF file I found, and it talks about, you know, look at the oil change intervals. You know, 120,000 or 1 year. Same way, 100,000 or 1 year, depending on the type of oil and stuff you got. But there is one oil they say if you use this, there's the spec for it, 256 revision C, that you can go up to 5 years on that. But you gotta know most of these RVs running around, that oil has been run for years and years, never checked, never changed. Now we got chainsaws. Okay, maybe it'll be quiet for a second. I'm gonna hold this. You can do a screenshot here if you want these specs on this oil, so you can get the proper oil for your Dana. Alright, it's time to put some fresh oil in this Dana 150 rear end, and just look how black that is. I think I mentioned earlier we had like 40,000 miles on it. Actually, it's a little over 50,000. He bought the RV, it had 40,000, so he's put some miles on it since then. But I don't know, it doesn't look like that has ever been changed, so kind of makes you wonder, what does your differential look like? Now, I know I drained mine a few videos back. I remember I found a little piece of metal when I was just checking the oil, and I went ahead and drained it, but my oil, after 2 years, I mean, it looked like honey. It just looked pristine. So we're going to get this filled up. Going to get my torque wrench out, torque the drain plug back where it belongs, and you can see I got the drain plug really nice and clean. There's no metal on it now like there was before. And we got to try to get that oil in here and not make a mess. We've got these gallon jugs here. We're putting back a full synthetic 75-140. You don't have to go synthetic if you don't want to. Here's my piece of paper. Hang on. I mean, you can easily Google the Dana oil specifications. They'll tell you the different options you have. My buddy here, Tim, he decided to go with a full synthetic. But it can be a little pricey, especially for this size we're in, because it takes so much with being 12 quarts. It hurts a little bit, but it's your RV, so you got to take care of it. So let's get to draining this oil. Or not draining it, filling it back up. Okay, you can see how I'm accomplishing this. Got my jug up here, got a hose, just give it a little squeeze and letting it flow in. Even one-handed, I'm getting this accomplished. Almost got it full. I'm on my third gallon now. So it's all full now. Put us in 3 gallons, got all that done. Last step, just like the book says, torque the drain plug up to 35 to 45 foot-pounds. Focus. Not focusing too good, is it? There we go. A little over 40 pounds. So we got that part done. I guess this project is over. So now there's no excuse. You can crawl into your RV, check your differential. If it looks anything like this, or if it's been a couple years, go ahead and get it changed, because you sure don't want a differential failure. That will cost you dearly. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye.